Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it's a must-play PS5 launch title. Tell me something, gamers. Are you ready to spend even more time swinging and parkouring around Marvel's New York City at breakneck speeds? Well, you're in luck because Insomniac Games is back with more of what you love in Spider-Man Miles Morales. This pseudo-sequel to 2018's Spider-Man builds on the success of the original game by expanding the Spider-Verse significantly to tell Miles' story and showcase what the PlayStation 5 is capable of. Now, while this review will be completely spoiler-free, your spoiler sense might be tingling for some reason nonetheless, so if that's the kind of thing that bothers you, well, make like Miles and swing on out of here until this is all over. Are all the spoiler phobes gone? Good. So as the subtitle suggests, in Spider-Man Miles Morales, you play as Miles Morales, a 17-year-old Afro-Latino boy genius who's burdened with the great power and greater responsibility of being Harlem's very own friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So the game itself takes place about a year after the events of the original, and Peter Parker's been doing his best to train Miles in what it means to be a spider-powered superhero because, as it turns out, Miles also gets bitten by New York's unlikeliest arachnid. Set during the holiday season, Miles finds himself New York's one and only Spider-Man when Peter takes a much-needed vacation. Now, unfortunately for Miles, it happens to be during the time where a battle between a nefarious energy company, Roxxon, and a burgeoning crime organization, the Underground, is breaking out, and Miles and Harlem find themselves caught smack dab in the middle. Now, some of the story's twists and turns may seem old hat to anyone who's seen the Oscar-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or if you can pick up on color schemes or comic book references, but the game does a great job of making the perfect Spider-Man story for 2020, one that touches on some of the hot-button issues of the moment while reminding us of things that matter, the power of empathy, community, and standing up for what's right. We really need a hero right now, and Miles delivers. While the game is a sequel to Spider-Man, it's not nearly as long as the original. Much like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is much shorter than Uncharted 4. I would estimate the game will take most players about 10 hours to complete, depending on how quickly you try to blaze through the main campaign, how much time you spend just vibing and swinging around New York City, and if you try to complete all the various side missions. Like the original game, there are tons of awesome collectibles, Easter eggs, and suits for you to unlock and uncover, including a very special Into the Spider-Verse costume that'll make you feel like you stepped out of the movie, complete with sound effects and animation style. It rules. While the game is incredibly slick and tremendously fun, it does suffer from some of the same issues I had with the original. Over the course of this game, you're going to be slowly introduced to new enemy types, which make the game's exceedingly polished combat system, well, makes it feel a bit repetitive as you clear out the same several enemy types over and over and over again. The side missions are enjoyable to a point, but the game is at its best when you're experiencing this compelling narrative in the main campaign. While Miles can do whatever a spider can, he has an array of unique powers that he discovers over the course of this game, like the ability to harness his body's bioelectric impulses and generate them into kinetic blasts. He can also go invisible, camouflaging himself from all manner of heavily armed goons. And although the overall control scheme is familiar to those who played the original Spider-Man game, Miles definitely feels like his own character. He's unique in the way he handles. Whereas Peter can pack more of a punch, Miles uses his kinetic energy, both literally and figuratively, to kick butt, take names, and clean up New York. Thanks to the PlayStation 5's vaunted solid-state drive, the game runs incredibly smooth, looks stunningly beautiful, and loads so quickly. The first time I used fast travel, I said, "Oh," out loud because it was essentially instantaneous. While I didn't get a chance to play the optimized version of the OG Spider-Man as well, the PlayStation 5 version of these games seem like they will be the definitive experience for anyone who wants to spend more time shooting webs, jumping off of buildings, and Peter parkouring their way across New York City without spending their lifetime in loading screens wishing that they were Uncle Ben instead. So here's the bottom line. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a must-buy for die-hard Marvel fans and people who loved the open-world action-adventure gameplay of the original, but want even more superhero storytelling. This version of Miles Morales is so relentlessly charming and likable, you might wind up enjoying playing as him even more than you did as Peter Parker. If you're looking for a game to put your brand new PlayStation 5 through its paces, this is a great way to break it in. Now, if you're looking for a game that'll last you 100+ hours with brand new gameplay innovations, well, you might be a little bit disappointed, but if the worst thing you can say about this game is that it leaves you wanting more, well, that's a pretty good problem to have. Rating: 4 out of 5 stars. But tell me, what do you think? Will you be playing Spider-Man Miles Morales? What system do you want to play it on? What Marvel characters do you most want to encounter in-game? Let's discuss. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. And until the next time that some mustachioed lunatic dedicates his life to ruining yours, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.
Beep.